Summary of Daf Vav of Likkutei Torah, Sefer Vayikra. We're in the middle of the Maimer of Bir Loisashris Melach about the spiritual meaning of salt. So now salt was added both to Korban Mincha, the flour offering, which represents flour and wheat represents Torah, and as well as to the animal offering, which represents the animal soul, and both need salt. Which add flavor to the Torah and add Yerushalayim, as well as refining the animal soul. Now, the godly soul has a natural state of that it wants to be one with Hashem, whereas the animal soul doesn't have that, and still it too, in its state, can also be devoted to Hashem and can also have this salt added. And salt actually has a mix of both fire and water, because on one hand it comes from water, the sea salt comes from the sea. On the other hand, you cook it in order to leave just the salt, and therefore it has both the idea of that it's positive and makes things tasty, as well as and spiritually so, as well as the fire element, which burns away negativity. And where in the second day of creation, it talks about the water being divided between the higher waters and lower waters. The lower waters can be prone to becoming waters of unholiness and of evil, and that's why the water of Yericho became bitter, and then Elisha fixed it. Because the animal soul, this represents the animal soul, and the animal soul also can become devoted to Hashem, and that's how it's fixed and refined through salt, and that's why Elisha threw salt into the water in order to fix it. Now, salt is the word melach. Melach is both the same word as cholam, which is lifting the dot above the letter, which is the idea of lifting malchus beyond its place at the bottom of the spheres. Cholam also could mean to strengthen, which salt can do spiritually, and also comes from the word mechal, forgiveness and atonement, which is also via salt, which is that salt both strengthens the positive character traits, as well as and Yerushalayim, as well as with severity cutting away and fixing up the negative traits. Now, although the whole year we always add salt because we want to add this element of Yerushalayim and Pnimus HaTorah, the inner parts of Torah, to our bread, which represents Torah, but at the Seder we don't add salt to our matzah, and that's because matzah represents simplicity, the poor man's bread, at least the matzah of the Seder, and therefore at that stage we don't have any salt there. Salt would represent flavor and understanding, but here it's just simple faith and simple Kabbalah soul, simple acceptance of the yoke. And like the Jew at a state of just simple devotion to Hashem, or saying, I don't have a choice, I'll die for Hashem because that's the only way. And then after the Seder, throughout the rest of Pesach, we extend from this state of simplicity to a state of understanding of Hashem and closeness to Hashem, and that's the idea of adding a vav, which represents revelation. And now salt, the word melach, besides meaning salt, also means to mix, because it's mixing together godly perspective, Hashem, as well as us in this physical world, to allow them to be brought together. And this is why Aaron, it says about Aaron that he has this covenant of salt, this eternal covenant, because he brings the Jewish people close to Hashem. It says the same about David, because David is the ultimate of Malchus, which is the simple humility. And then when David has this Vav added to his name, he too has the salt, meaning the tastiness of understanding and closeness to Hashem. Now, although mixing together the high worlds and low worlds is great, but there's an even higher level of splitting of the seas. And at that state, it's not just that we all mix together, but there's no separation in the first place. And that's what's achieved through Pesach, through all the understanding of Hashem and closest to Hashem. Ultimately, we reach the stage on Shvi Shel Pesach, the 7th of Pesach, where the sea is split away entirely. And now we're able to just be without any difficulty, without any challenge. Just the simple way we are is in a state of oneness with Hashem.